Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2026 3 Minutes Thesis Competition, proudly hosted by the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. My name is Danning Li, and I am a research assistant professor of our department, and I was happened to be one of the participants of the 2023 CEE 3MT competition, which is the first 3MT competition of our department. It is a great honor for me to become the MC of today's event, and I was offered 3 minutes for this opening speech. Looking back 3 years ago, I can honestly say that being able to participating in the 3MT was one of the best experiences during my PhD journey. And so when Professor Jing Lin came to me with the invitation of becoming today's MC, I said yes without hesitation. As some of you may know that the 3MT was originally developed in the University of Queensland in 2008, and Professor Jin, who got his PhD from the University of Queensland, was the one who initiated this event in our department. So I want to take a special moment to sincerely thank Dr. Jim for bringing this tradition into our department and his relentless efforts in organizing this event every year. Let's give him a round of applause. So 3MT is a wonderful stage for our PhD students to display their ability to distill your years of hard works into concise, comprehensible words for a non-specialist audience. The rule is pretty simple. Each student will be offered 3 minutes and one static PowerPoint slide to present the innovation and significance of their thesis. The ability to do so is how civil and environmental engineers secure funding, influence public policy, and deliver real-world change. So to evaluate today's presentations, we are honored to have a fantastic panel of judges. Let's please join me in welcoming Dr. Samantha Kong, Professor Jingxia Liu, Professor Jiang Song Hu, Professor Siwei Liu, and Professor Jinghua Wang. And now let's talk about the true stars of today's event. This year we have an outstanding outline of 6 participants, and our judges will select the championship, first runner-up, and second runner-up. Meantime, all of our audiences will have a crucial voice in selecting the People's Choice Award of the day. The winners today will not just walk away with the title, they will earn the honor of representing the CEE department at the FCE finals. From there, they could advance to the PolyU finals and ultimately even steps up to the international stage at the Asia Pacific 3MT competitions. So let's not keep them waiting any longer. Please give a massive round of applause to welcome our very first presenter of the today, Mr. Wu Huanyu, supervised by Professor Zhao Qi.
Good afternoon, everyone. Imagine you are standing on the moon. No rain, no wind, and no other people. All look silent. But the moon is never that peaceful. Every second, it is hit by numerous tiny bullets from space. They are micrometeorites. Micrometeorites strike lunar surface with extremely high speeds and melt lunar soil into strange glassy particles. We call them agglutinates. Agglutinates are very small, but they record the violent micro-impact history on the lunar surface, like a diary. So my research raises one question. Can we read this diary and understand how micro-impacts have changed during the past 4 billion years? To answer this question, we study the precious lunar samples returned by China's Chang'e 5 and the Chang'e 6 samples, which fill a missing chapter of lunar history between 1 to 3 billion years ago. So since the lunar soil is incredibly fine, it is impossible to count every grain by hand. So we use X-ray, micro-CT, and deep learning to automatically identify agglutinates from lunar samples. We analyzed millions of particles and found thousands of agglutinates. By using their abundance, we successfully reconstructed the micro-impact flux during the past 4 billion years. Our results are surprising, because for a very long time, scientists assumed that the micrometeorite flux should be roughly constant, but we found they come in waves. And there are 2 major pulses. The first one is around 3 billion years ago, and the second one just within the recent 0.5 billion years. It means that micrometeorites are striking the lunar surface more frequently today than before. And this matters more than ever because China is preparing to build a permanent lunar base in the next 10 years, where astronauts will live and work. Micrometeorites can damage our spacecraft, human habitats, and even put astronauts' lives at risk. So it is necessary for us to understand this invisible rain from space. The moon is quiet, but under X-ray scanner, it speaks. Even the smallest grain can tell us the biggest story. By reading the stories written in lunar soil, we are not just uncovering the moon's mysterious past, we are preparing for our future on the moon and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Huanyu, for your incredible speech. Okay, I think our judges are ready, so let's welcome our next speaker, Yang Shihui, supervised by Professor Lü Shaoyuan.
Everyone, please raise your hand if you finished everybody for lunch today and left no waste. Okay. Have you ever wondered where do the food leftovers go after you dump it in the trash bin? In China, over 90% of the food waste ends up in landfill, which means that we dig a hole, dump in the waste, and cover it with soil. There, the food decomposes, releasing greenhouse gas that could accelerate climate change. And toxic acids can also leach into groundwater, eventually contaminating our drinking water sources. Let's not do this. For me, I don't see food waste. I see a gold mine. Through a biological process called the carboxylate chain elongation, specialized microorganisms can convert the food waste into caproic acid. This is a very useful platform chemical that can be applied in pharmaceuticals and cosmetics and even jet fuels. However, this process is currently unstable. We often meet unexpected reactor failures, most of the time due to competitions from bacteria that do not go to carboxylate chain elongation. These bacteria somehow grow faster and stronger and deprive all the food in the reactor, so our target strands are starved to death. To solve this, my research creates a synthetic microbial community, a team that is designed to work in a cooperative relationship. To find this perfect team, I need to know my workers. How? So first of all, I extract DNA from the reactor microbiome, like fingerprints. And comparing the fingerprints with genomic database, I get to know who they are. And next, I used RNA sequencing, like a CCTV camera, so that I can see what they're doing out there and how their activities change with the variation of reactor parameters. Then I test the top candidates individually, and all the records feed into an AI-assisted kinetic model so that I can predict the conditions needed to reach maximum productivity. So by combining the synthetic community with model-assisted reactor optimization, I am developing a biological machine that stably produces caproic acid from food waste. So next time you see food leftovers, remember that I'm trying hard to turn this waste into a sustainable future. Thank you.
Thank you, Shihui, for your excellent speech. Now we can move to the next speaker, Li Haiyun, supervised by Professor Duan Huanfeng.
Good afternoon, everyone. Imagine we are in a big metro station. It's raining heavily outside like today, but we think we are safe because we are underground, right? Then suddenly, the water starts rushing in from everywhere. The lights go down, the exits are flooded, no signal, we don't know where to go. Can only have sunlight by our cell phone. This is not a movie scene. This actually happened in Zhengzhou, 2021. At that time, 500 people were trapped underground, water rising to their chest. 14 people never came home. But why did it get so bad, so fast? The answer is not the flood itself, it's what happened after. Think of it like a row of domino chain. The water hit the power system first. Without power, the communication went silent. No announcement, no signal. How about the drainage pump? We count on them for removing the water. Guess what? They need electricity too. This is the cascading failure, and it is the hidden danger beneath every major city in the world. But if we could see the entire chain before it falls, that's my research. A modern metro station is like a small city beneath a big city, far too complex to predict how flood will spread. So, we developed a simulation method that models how water moves through the zone. And then, step by step, we connected with different systems that water destroy: power, drainage, communication, and pedestrian, and mapping how one failure pulled down the rest. So, for the first time, we can trace the entire chain. And once we understand the mechanism of the chain, we can break it. That's the right part of my slide: resilience and recovery, which means reinforce the weakest point or link before the storm arrive, and once the disaster already happened, recover different systems in the right order, faster and safer. Every single day, millions of people step underground, including you and me, trusting the metro station will bring us home safely. So with all this development, we believe that next time the rain pours down, the lights stay on, and no one trapped underground. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, now let's welcome our fourth speaker, Mr. Abdullah, supervised by Professor Andy Leung.
Good afternoon, everyone. So just imagine if you touch some hot stove, or your feet you step on some something, and it's like hurt you a little bit, and immediately you receive a signal in your brain, right? And in the real time, you know that my hand or feet is like hurt, right? So that thing is directly comes to your brain in the real time, and you act soon and pull up your hand or your feet. So just imagine if you have foundations, right, like piles, and it's underground and you don't know what's going on inside the ground, right? So imagine we are giving the nervous systems to the piles, and we are installing fiber optic sensor in the piles. So when there's some load or some damage occur in the piles, so you can immediately know where exactly it is happened. And we have some traditional sensor like strain gauges, LVDTs, right? But that thing is we install it a predefined locations or predefined positions. So we don't know, like sometimes we miss the exact points where the damage occurs. So by the fiber optic sensor, we can sense the whole length of the piles, and we can, in the real time, we can know exactly the points where the damage occurs. So with the help of the government, we already conduct like 14 tests, and one last is remaining in the new territories area. And what we are doing now is like we are improving the design code of the Hong Kong, and because the construction cost is very high in Hong Kong, and also the design code is very over conservative. So we are trying to improve the design code or modified it a little bit so we can reduce the cost, and also to improve the design code for the future skyscrapers. So this is my research, and we will get the real-time monitoring, safety enhancement, and reduce the cost. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdullah, for your speech. It's wonderful. Okay, we can move to the next one. Next one is Zhang Xiaotong, supervised by Professor Wang An.
Good afternoon, everyone. Have you walked down a busy street, feel stressed by the heat and noise, by the roar of the passing traffic, and wondered exactly how how much a work costs your health and emotion. We all know that urban developers face complex environmental risks every day, including air pollution, heat wave, and noise, which are often trapped in narrow street canyon with limited greenery. But here is what we don't know. Stationary monitoring is typically fixed in field sports, such as the air quality station of government. They are blind to the comprehensive view of the entire urban landscape. Beyond that, existing research often isolates a single environmental risk, yet in reality, it's a collective impact of various environmental risks that shape our happiness and quality of life. Obviously, existing research cannot tell us the real-world exposure of your individual mobility every day. To see the invisible, we have turned the urban mobility into a living sensing network. By recruiting mobile agents like delivery riders and taxi drivers and equipping them with portable sensors, we can collect hyperlocal environment data across the entire urban landscape. Because these carriers traverse every street and neighborhood in the city, they provide a granular, hyperlocal view of the environmental data that the stationary monitoring missed. By doing so, it allows us to capture the multiple environmental risks that you actually perceive through multisensory experience. By overlaying the hyperlocal environmental data with human mobility pattern from social media and travel survey, we can now create a high fidelity human exposure profile to various environmental risks with a target emphasis on elderly people and tourists, which are vulnerable groups. This matters because we are transforming from general environmental risk mitigation to evidence-based target planning strategy. It also provides a blueprint to build a more sustainable and inclusive city where your mobility is no longer a risk to your health, but a path to a better quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you, Xiaotong. I love your passion. Yeah, that's the spirit we want, okay? Okay, now we have arrived at our final speaker today, Lu Tian, supervised by Professor Haiyun.
Okay, I got a problem. I want to break a metal paperclip, but I don't have any tools on hand. How can I do it? I got the answer too. Just bend it back and forth. Eventually, it'll snap. In engineering, a bridge works the same way. Millions of vehicles eventually cause microcracks due to the deadly interaction of this repeatedly bending of the steel. Okay, in engineering, we call this structural fatigue. Now, what if we add a corrosive environment like salty sea air? What happens after decades? Look at these tragic cases. One called the Silver Bridge spanning the Ohio River in America suddenly collapsed one day and claimed 46 people's life. What caused it? A single microcrack due to the deadly interaction of corrosion and fatigue. The corrosion eats away the steel's defense, allowing cracks to occur prematurely. But worse, when corrosion and fatigue team up, they don't just add to the damage, they multiply it. We call this effect corrosion-fatigue coupling. While researchers have studied this phenomenon widely, there is a critical blind spot. In laboratory tests, they usually speed up to test fatigue, but corrosion is hard to keep the same pace. This mismatch in speed underestimates the coupling effect and dangerously overestimate the true lifespan of the bridge. So this is my research comes in. I found a way to accurately capture this coupling effect and develop a lifespan prediction model for steel bridges. Taking the Timma Bridge in Hong Kong as a testbed, a design facility to test full-scale bridge component, And to expand this limited laboratory data, I built multi-physics models for numerical simulation. This allows me to uncover the exact rule of how these coupled cracks grow. Then I put these rules into the real bridge by using 29-year field monitoring data from smart sensors. The result was striking. The corrosion fatigue coupling effect works as a silent accelerator, reducing the expected lifespan of the bridge by up to 38%. So I would say my research serves a dual purpose: to help create an early warning system for the Tian Bridge and beyond, and to rewrite the bridge design code around the world. Ultimately, my work ensures that our bridges remain safe, saving millions of dollars, and most importantly, saving lives. Thank you.
Let's give one final huge round of applause to all of our award winners and every single participant today. Thanks for being with us, and we are looking forward to seeing you next year.